Today we are going to practice telling time. Let's start by reviewing the parts of a clock. This right here is the face of the clock. It has the numbers around the edge. Another part of the clock are the clock hands. There is a short hand and a long hand. Let's start by talking about this short hand. This is the hour hand. The hour hand keeps track of the hour and tells us what hour we are in. When we look at the clock, we see that there are 12 hours. Each of these big numbers, 1, 2, 3, they're all hours. We have 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours. The hour hand, or the shorthand, let us know what hour. When we look at this shorthand, it is pointing at the 3, so we know it is pointing to the third hour, 3 o'clock. Now let's talk about the long hand, or we all know it is the minute hand. It keeps track of the minutes. And if we look at our clock face as we go all the way around, we can see here at the top we start with 12. And then there's a line. That's 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. In between each of these numbers, there are 5 minutes. Let's check by looking between 1 and 2. So if this was 5, let's just count by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, there's 5 minutes in between. Okay? But let's keep track of how many minutes. There's a shortcut way. This 1 mark is actually 5 minutes. And if we're counting by 5s, because there are 5 in between, this 2 is 10 minutes. Then we have 15, 20, and you can see we keep counting by 5s as we work our way around the clock. Whoops. We're at 40 minutes for the 8 hour. The 9 is 45 minutes. The 10 is 50 minutes. The 11 is 55. And when we get all the way back up to 12, we are at 60 minutes. And then we start back over with 1. So after 60, we start back over with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if we look at our minute hand right here, it is pointing to the 12, and we know that's when we're ready to start back over, and a whole hour has passed, so we are at 3 o'clock. These are the basic parts of a clock. Let's practice using what we know to tell some time. Alright, here is our clock face. I'm going to put the hour hand and the minute hand on the clock face, and I want you to figure out what time it is. Pause the video if you need to think about it carefully, and then start the video when you're ready and we'll check your work. Alright, here are the clock hands. Alright, so pause the video, press play when you're ready, and we'll check your work. Alright, so let's start by looking at the hour hand. I am going to use my pen to show where it's pointing, and I see it is between the 2 and the 3. It is not quite yet to the 3, so I know I'm still in the 2 o'clock hour. So I'm going to write down 2 for my hour. Now I'm going to look at my minute hand and I'm going to extend that, and I see that it's pointing at the 6. Now, it's not 2 6. We know that minutes count by 5. So I'm going to go back up here, and I know that when I am at 12, it is 60, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's right. There are 5 in between, and I keep counting 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So my minutes are 30. So that tells me that my time is 2:30. And that's how I write it in words. I can also write it like a digital clock. 2, then I put the colon, 30. And that's how I write it as a digital clock. Let's do one more together. Again, I'll put the hands on the clock. You stop the video to figure out what time it is, press play, and then we'll check our work together. All right, let's take a look. I like to use my pen or my pencil to extend the line so I can get a good look at what it's pointing at. I see that it's slightly past the 8, and so when I'm using my shorthand, I'm using the hour hand, and so I look at the numbers, and that tells me that we are in the 8 o'clock hour. I'm going to also extend my minute hand so I can be accurate. And I see that the minute hand is pointing to 3. Now, once again, I remember when I'm doing my minutes, I'm counting each of these lines. And so I know it's not 8, 3. That would be silly because 1, 2, 3 is right here, and I'm not pointing to that. So I know the shortcut is to count by 5s. So 5, 10, 15. So I know the time is 8:15. And I can write it as a digital time, 8:15. So if you had a digital watch or an alarm clock or on your microwave or your oven, it would look like this.